of them trying to meet certain criteria financially or credit wise individually, they can have the benefit of the corporation and what that brings with it to be able to purchase real estate. I didn't get a chance to tell them our history together.
Watching live, and hello to everyone that is watching the replay. It is always an honor to be amongst family and to talk about my favorite subject, which is business, right? We are, of course, living in some interesting times, but when are we not, right? There's always something going on. And the question I like to always pitch is, when are you going to do something about it? And a lot of the answers to the questions we have relate to the power that we have within ourselves to make a change. Doesn't matter if you have a degree, doesn't matter if you are a particular subject matter expert, it doesn't matter if you're 15, it doesn't matter if you're 75, right? Making change for your life and for the trajectory even of your family's life can happen when you just make a decision and act on it. And a lot of times people get scared about business, but the great thing about business is that and entrepreneurship is that it's not going anywhere. The landscape of our country thrives off of businesses, right? We often attend and go to and shop at many of our big businesses, but let's not forget the early stages of where they all began, right? And we often think that because, Amazon or Walmart started in, small, humble beginnings, that in 2025, it's so far gone that we're not capable of doing the same thing. Actually, I would like to reject your thought process and notion and challenge you to look at what tools and options do we have at our fingertips for either free or for a very low cost introductory price for us to make a change in our life. We have access to so many different things. And so I always challenge people, before you say you cannot, you're unable, you cannot do, there are lots of channels from YouTube. There are lots of people on TikTok. There are a lot of people that talk about a plethora of things in business. Now, of course, you got to filter through. However, there will always be breadcrumbs of success, not the flashy success that y'all used to seeing, right? But there
talk
are
about that
breadcrumbs of success that exist more and that can help catapult you and your family's trajectory here on this earth for the time that you're appointed to be here, right? And again, doesn't matter when you start, the goal is just to get started. So when we're talking about business, and I'll just backtrack to some foundation and fundamental things, having longevity in your business is gold. Starting today is good. You may not have all your bells and whistles, in order, but that's okay. Think of it like college. When we all started college, we knew that there was a set of rules, a set of classes, courses. There was a trajectory and a path outlined for us. And we can do the same thing if we connect ourselves with other business leaders in our area, Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, even our city council, right? There are players that we just don't think to listen to or feel like they have anything that would be relatable for us to help us as people in our businesses. But there really is. We have to get out of our own way. That's really the biggest hurdle. Right. All the paperwork, dotting your I's and crossing the T's, that's the easy part. The hardest part is really getting out of your way. And so if you can't get out of your way, you will never acquire that land that your family can have for eons and eons, right? You will never be in a position to even feel comfortable looking at land in other areas or other countries, right? But you have to get out of your own way first and foremost. There is no strategy that I can give you. There is no strategy that Mrs. Battle can provide you that will help you if you are going to be constantly in your own way. Now, if you're going to be in your own way, deal with that first.
That's so good.
Deal with that first, okay? Then we can get on with the other things that need to happen. And so right now I operate as a strategist in government contracting. I love that field. It is a field that is not highly occupied by those who look like me, Black and brown people, those who are considered minorities, women. There is an open, wide space for it. And I know there's so many things every day. It seems like every hour going form a way or be willing to pivot when challenges come our way. We just don't give up because we've been hit a couple blows, right? Sometimes we've been hit, we got to hit back too, right? I know I tell my children, don't hit someone first, but if they hit you first, you hit them back. That's the plan. So if we feel like we're being hit right now, what is your plan on how you're going to hit back? Or are you just going to continuously get hit? We're in a country that gives us options and gives us the power to think of other options outside of what others think to make a way for us to live and live comfortably. It's all about your mindset. Are you going to constantly be punched down with what you're being challenged with? Or are you going to challenge the status quo and still make a way? Now, our people have constantly made a way and will continue to make a way,
Exactly.
right? And you don't have to have a whole lot. That's the misconception. You don't have to have a whole lot. You just have to have a plan. People
Come
don't
on.
value the art of having a plan, but a plan lets you know a lot of different things. Even if we draft a plan, let's say just for the next 90 days, that will bring us to about what, April or May. If you execute your plan every day, at the end of your 90 days, you can determine whether it was a success or failure. The gem with that is it was a success regardless because you executed that plan every day that you were supposed to. If you had given up at some point in the middle of that plan, you would have automatically defeated your success that was at the end of the plan for you anyway.
Right.
But what if that plan didn't look like, what if the result at the end of that plan did not look the way that you intended it for it to look like? It's still a success because we know what worked and what didn't work. And so the next 90 days, we're going to work with what works. And that's really what the plan, a crafted plan really, really brings us to, is that this works, this didn't work. And we're going to continue to work with what works, right? And so in business, we constantly are faced with challenges. We're constantly faced with new regulations, new laws. Now it's new tariffs and who's paying for what. I'm not necessarily concerned about that, right?
Come on.
Because if I'm confident in me and my company and what my teammates, what we all put together and what we serve to our community, it doesn't matter what is thrown our way. Our clients are happy. We're here to help solve their problems. And that's the end of it. I could go home, go to bed, feel comfortable, feel good. My team feels good, right? Because I take really good care of them, and they take really, really good care of me, and we all together take care of our clients. It's a huge ecosystem. This is not a one-on-one or one versus one system, right? You have to also have the mindset of community. Everything just can't just be for you. And when I talk about family, it's my family, it's Miss Battle's family. I have family in Ohio, family in Maryland. I have family in Ghana. I have family in Haiti. It's not just me. It doesn't just benefit me. It benefits everyone who is connected to me.
Right.
But in my entire ecosystem, if no one else is going to craft and draft a plan for success, it's going to be me. It's going to be me. And I'm going to put the plan in action, and I'm going to see it at the end of our time and determine whether it was a success or was it a failure. And whatever was a failure, we just ignore, right? Not to tell you, no, we take account for it, we take accountability for it,
Right.
we right our wrongs, and then we continue to move forward. So with business, that is exactly what it is. We have ebbs and flows. It goes up and down. Things happen left and right. 2025 has come in, I would say, like a whirlwind. And there's good and bad with everything that has happened. Every day people are finding out whether or not they have a job or not. How are they going to pivot? How are they going to live? How are they going to support their families? There's always a saying that I hear online all the time: one income is too close to none. So you can still have a 9 to 5, nothing wrong with that at all, and have your business on the side, right? Have something that you can rely on in case the waters get a little murky, a little muddy, right?
Right.
But always be willing to be a student to learn, right? Because when there's people that say they know everything, it's like being a student of a lot that you can do with it. Um, in our country, contrary to popular belief, our government supports businesses more than people.
Please say that again. See, that's the whole point of helping us to understand, because we're missing that.
Yes, our government supports businesses more than they support people.
That's right.
There are more programs, whether it's state, local, or federal, that are allocated to support businesses than people. So if that's the odds, if I know that that's the data, because I work a lot with numbers and data, that is my bread and butter. I love that, right? If the data shows, if the numbers show that there's more programs for me as a business owner than for me as an individual, well, let me go and inquire and see, what are these programs about? What are they teaching me? Where are they bringing me? What are they doing? How can I get funding? There's lots of funding for businesses. It's
That's
honestly
yes.
crazy. And the great thing about business is that if it goes south, if it goes bad, if it goes bankrupt, guess what? You can start another one.
Hello, somebody pick me. Okay, that's what and that's the importance of why I keep stressing. I keep doing this every week so people understand purchasing the ground is important. I don't want you to think it's because I sell real estate. You can buy it from anybody. In my heart, and this is true.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that people get the advantages. When I learn about an advantage, I try to pass it on. Right now, purchasing ground as an investment property seems impossible to people because they're trying to do it themselves. They don't know our country is based on benefiting small businesses and larger corporations. So if you form that corporation correctly, you're going to benefit not just in investing in solid ground in terms of stationary investments, but you're going to benefit in various ways. There are resources that are available just because you decided to contribute to this country's commerce, but you want to form it properly. And please go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Correct. No. I love the trajectory. I'm gonna add on that.
Mm-hmm.
Our country supports businesses. Those who are in office right now support U.S. based businesses.
Yeah.
So that is why they are causing so much of a riffraff.
Yeah.
With international trade and commerce.
Right, but how does it benefit moi? That's what we got to look at.
And we have so many different tools. We got so many AI tools, right, that can ask
on it.
So, and I talked to my husband about this because this is something that we need to do in America. We got to think a little bit bigger, right? And I'm going to challenge our people because I've seen what our people have done. I know what we're capable of. We're taking a little bit too easy of the route. We're taking the easy route a little bit too long, right? It's time to level up a little bit, but it doesn't require much. And let me tell you why. A lot of goods that we receive come from many other countries. Our land in the United States is capable of doing everything that we get that's imported into our country.
Yes.
So why not wash and repeat?
Yes.
Many people don't like the state of Mississippi, and I don't want to pick on them, but I'm gonna pick on them because they're a gold mine. Let me tell you why. They don't like the state of Mississippi because there's nothing there. Mississippi is a gold mine because it is a land that is waiting to be cultivated.
That's right.
The land is so available, it is so affordable, and the commerce opportunities are endless.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about the food that can be produced, because it is a southern state, so it can withstand a great amount of produce. We talk about our manufacturing capabilities. So like, well, I've never manufactured anything. That's okay. We have tools that can help us manufacture some of these things that we have other countries make and send over here to us.
Right.
When it comes to even and then we're also, when you do that, you also are dumping resources into labor, right? Because there are a lot of people who are looking for jobs. The beginning of 2025, there were a lot of corporations that said we are closing our doors. So no longer do we have their products and services. There are also families who are looking for new jobs. And then turn around not too long after, the federal government started their mass layoff, and they are continuing their mass layoff. There was a mass layoff yesterday, and the layoff comes by way of email.
Yeah.
So you've got people that have to figure out, what am I going to do over the next few months, if they even have months, to make a decision as to what are we going to do? What's going to happen? Is my household a one income household? Is it a two income household? And sometimes when we're put in a position of, how do I want to say it? Not scarcity, but when our back is against the wall, there's a lot of pressure. And so sometimes our ability to think and focus and make sound decisions sometimes is not in the best place when our back is against the wall, when we're stressed out, when we're overwhelmed, bills are piling up, kids need to eat, kids need to go to school, I got to pay my mortgage, I have to pay my car. You know, you're just like, how are all these things going to be taken care of when my job has just been taken away from me? And I don't know what I did, but it may not be nothing that you did. It's just what others are doing. And for me, for someone to have that much power over my comfortability in my life, I don't particularly like that. I myself have been a business owner since 2011, and I've done a bunch of different things. But in my trajectory, I've learned a whole lot. I've been able to master certain skills that have helped position me for where I am right now. And I live very comfortably. And I have 5 children. I have a family of 7. And people are like, the price of eggs are crazy. And I'm like, I know, because we go through a couple dozen a week, right? But you won't see me complaining online, because I've been cultivating and working in my business for several years, making connections with those in my city, and those, even in DC and all over the world, to help people solve their problems. That's all businesses. Businesses are people or organizations that help solve problems. And so utilizing your capability to solve a problem, whatever it may be, you acquire resources. And then once you start acquiring resources, you now qualify for more resources. Because remember, I told you our country supports businesses. There are lots of resources that are available to you in your local area and at your statewide. But remember, I mentioned a couple businesses. I mentioned produce, and I mentioned even manufacturing.
Yeah.
Those are things that are going to be key things that the country is going to focus on and support in-house, meaning in the USA.
That's right.
What can I manufacture? What can I do? Baby, you better Google something. You better talk to ChatGPT. We talk about these tools that we have. Don't act like you don't, unless you have a solid no. Don't go in this race defeated. There is no final no until you have done the work to verify it's a no. As far as I'm concerned, it's a yes until. It's a yes until otherwise told. And then again, there we go. There's that challenge until. So there's a challenge point, and I need to pivot. I need to find another solution to this problem that I have. So owning a business opens up a whirlwind of opportunities more than what people express. And you can still own your business. You can have a brick and mortar. You can own land. You can build your wealth. You can do a lot of different things. Don't limit yourself. But it first starts with having a business that solves a problem. I got to go back to that. It always starts with that. You got to have a business that solves a problem. And our government is going to support businesses. And there are programs that exist today, and there are more programs to come that are going to support businesses that solve problems in the US. And so you're like, I'm not sure where to go, what to start. Talk to Miss Battle. She'll help you out. She will help you funnel and focus on the particular thing that you are good at. I like to work in the lane that you're good at. I don't like to pick things that sell you that you may not be good at, but you also may have something that you're interested in and just not sure how to start it and how to even get funding for it and support. Like if I wanted to start a business manufacturing, I don't even know, plastic bottles, right? For water bottles. I'm pretty sure I can get all the funding that I need because I would set up my business in an extremely rural area to provide economic development, jobs. I would have funding that would support, the people who will be working there. I'll get the support to build the facility that I need. There's money for all of that. Mm-hmm. Lots of money, actually, to be honest. And so you have to go in an area where you can build a little manufacturing area. You can't do that in the city. The cities are full. Gonna have to go out a little bit. And some people are like, that's a little uncomfortable. It can be, but we have to not think about the right now. Right now, we're just planting the seeds. But long term, 50 years, 75 years, 100 years, that business can be in your family's name. The land that, let's say, the business is on, or land that you acquired just from the resources that your business has done, can be long lasting. But the goal is to get started now. And like I said at the beginning, you have to get out of your own way.
Yes.
It's going to be scary. Yes. Will you know all the answers? No. But that's why you also surround yourself with like-minded people. You can't go through this world of business by yourself. Just like you at a 9-to-5, you have coworkers, and though you may not tell them everything, there are coworkers that do get very comfortable and build bonds like family. Same thing on the business side. You connect yourself with other business owners. You go to conferences. You speak at other events in your local area. You talk to your city council and ask them, why don't we have this, or why are they doing this over here? I think that this would be a great benefit for us here in our city. I do that all the time. I keep the city of Huntsville busy. If it's good enough for Atlanta, it's good enough for Huntsville. That's how I pitch, right? But you have to be at the forefront and be willing to stand 10 toes down on that. But the only way to move, because there's a lot of movement I just mentioned, and all of that comes from the one source of having a business. Mm-hmm. And how many opportunities you have just for movement, for funding, for opportunities, for capacity, capability. A lot of that comes from just having a business. And granted, you may not, wherever you start may not be even where you end up, but you have to at least start, because again, having that plan, that 90-day plan, what worked and what didn't work, and you continue to work with what worked, and you fine tune and work better on what didn't work along the way.
Abby.
Yes.
We have a question, and I also want to interject a comment.
Okay.
So the comment that I want to interject is that Abina stated that she has participated in several different variations of business ownership since 2011. Mm-hmm. And so what I want you guys to hear is she's saying that the ebb and flow of business ownership can vary, but you can pivot. Mm-hmm. The question that we have is, how do I go about determining what business I should start, and is incorporating important? That's the question. I think you kind of already answered a portion of it. Prior, I don't know if this listener was tapped in at the time or viewing at the time that you.
Yes. So I would always start with the business that I can just rely on myself to do. If my background is in business, I have an accounting degree and I have an MBA. So, and I have business owners in my family. So I have a larger knowledge space of seeing entrepreneurship in businesses, and not just here in the US, but also internationally. So if I was starting fresh and I was starting new and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I would start a business that I could do myself, that I'm not relying on other people to do. That way you can not just do the business, but you learn your systems and processes you need to have in place so that you can add other people, employees to your business to allow it to run more efficiently and effective. You're going to duplicate what you do because as a business owner in the beginning, you're doing all the work. You're doing all the roles, right? A lot of times people want to come into business and they want to assign different roles. And making sure that you also are obtaining the revenue necessary to keep operations moving. So as a one-person show, if I'm starting, I'm going to do something that I know I can do, I can manage, that I can document what I'm doing, how I'm doing, what I like, what I don't like, how I'm pitching to people, how people are setting up their schedules to meet with me, conferences that I'm going to meet my ideal client. And again, after having that set plan, you can determine a lot of times it'll let you know if your ideal client that you had in mind is truly your ideal client. Because who we have in mind may not be who we're attracting. And so that's major. That is major. That will save you a lot of money because I spent a lot of time talking to the wrong people thinking that they needed my solution and they didn't. It was others, and I was not necessarily ignoring them, but I didn't put them in the right place as my prime audience, as my prime client. And I wasted a lot of time and money. I sure did.
I got to pause for a commercial.
And to learn. Okay.
All right. So a lot of you who are viewing have this book already. Homeownership, pre-planning, and much, much more. It's a purchasing power tool for business owners. So this book has everything in it from how to extensively prepare your own financial statement to understanding what type of financing is wise for you and what's not wise for you. Even if you're refinancing, if you're purchasing a piece of property, down to how to calculate your own monthly payment if you're looking at a piece of property and you don't have a loan officer or a realtor in front of you and you just want to know quickly. But sometimes you can ask chat GPT and it can misunderstand what you're asking and give you the wrong calculation. This book tells you step by step how to calculate what your monthly payment will be. It tells you step by step how to break down the difference between your annual percentage rate, your APR, and your monthly interest, which you can then learn at post loan how to prepay your interest. That's a whole nother ball game. We know how to pay extra payments on your mortgage principal. This tells you also how to prepay your interest. Mortgage interest is paid in the arrears. So I just wanted to tell you, if you don't have this tool, you want to get it. It was authored by none other than yours truly. And I did it because I wanted to, I knew what was coming. This was written last year during the different administration, but I knew what was coming. So I understood the name of the game now is owning your own business, incorporating it, preparing yourself to be able to land some assets, get yourself in a better position, and stop focusing on how you can qualify as an individual and set yourself up as an entity and benefit. So, and I want to say, we got, for those, I see people still coming in. This is Abina Souffrant, and she is a business strategist, B2G. So she really helps us to understand how we can do business with the government. She teaches us everything from beginning to end. I love her company. Also, I want to say that I can remember when she was working on her MBA and even prior to, and I talked to her and her husband about starting their business, and he looked at me in an interesting way. They were working on a variation of businesses, but we sort of worked on getting them incorporated, getting them established in a particular business and at least getting their mindset set up to do business in a particular way, getting the foundation set. Once they got that foundation set, they took off like lightning. Sorry to interrupt, Abby. Please carry on.
No, let me keep talking about that one, right? Because people, again, you have to be okay with changes, with challenges and pivoting, right? That's the ebbs and flow of business. That's just what you're going to endure. And what Ms. Battle's talking about was she helped us form our land title abstracting company, which is still in existence today. I think, let's see, this is what, 2025? So this
Right.
is year 8, I think, or 9?
Yeah.
Year 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And we started that business for a number of reasons. And she pretty much said, y'all are leaving money on the table. And there's too much money. And my company can't acquire it all. And we need more of us in this place, in this space. And when people are willing to invest in you, don't take it lightly, because it doesn't happen all the time. And I will tell you, like I said, we are year 8 or 9 now in our title abstracting business, still going very strong. We've had to we still reject clients because we are at capacity.
Right.
There is such a need for what we do. It's still a very niche business. It's still very much so under the radar.
It is, and I love it.
I needed to stay there. And I will say that it really changed our life, our mindset, and how your mindset literally transforms your livelihood. That business, which is now fully operated through my husband, brought us through literally our darkest times. And people are like, what does that mean? What does that look like? Without going into too much detail, I'll just say that with that particular business, we literally ate out every day as a family of 5 for 3 years and did not skip a beat. We did not miss a meal. Nobody went hungry. Nobody went without. And we had hit a very hard time that even in this business allowed us to be as flexible as we needed to be.
Ain't God good?
Amen. Don't start.
Huh?
And so, and even in that business allowed us to own our first rental property right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so we talk about, and we already had an existing mortgage. My husband and I, we already had an existing mortgage with our title abstracting business. We were able to acquire another property, renovate it, and put it back on the market. So that's some of that buying power that you have with having a business.
Yes.
They did not check our credit. Let me go and tell the whole truth. They did not check our credit.
That's right.
We got funding without checking our credit. I know you hear people say that all the time. And you're really unsure if it's true or not. You can go back and check all my inquiries for that property. Our credit never got checked. Everything was in the business.
Can somebody lean in? Because that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You see this?
Everything was in the business.
I'm trying to tell y'all. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be attached to you, because on paper, I make a certain amount. I control how much I make. You have that control too as a business owner, right? The entity makes all the money.
Right.
So when they look at the financials to determine the strength and the capability and capacity of what you can handle, well, of course the business can handle it all because the business is receiving all of the revenue, and it sees the profit that's left over, and it sees the consistent cash flow. But the only reason that was able to be possible, we had to get started. We had to get out of our own way. We had to go sign up with the Secretary of State. It's not a lot of steps. The hardest step really is getting outside of your own way, and making a decision to move forward and being willing to be a student along the way. Most of us went to college with the goal of obtaining a degree. Some of us get it in, in the 4 years that they, allocate. I got mine in 5. Things happen. The goal was to get a degree. You got a degree. Now, what do you do with it? Right? Same thing with the business. Go through the same trajectory. It may take you 4 years, like you're in college. What is the rush? There's no rush.
Right.
The rush really is to get started, because the time frame that your business is active and operable works in your favor. That longevity does work in your favor. So an opportunity or funding that you may get having 6 months worth of an frame that your business is active and operable works in your favor. That longevity does work in your favor. So an opportunity or funding that you may get having 6 months worth of an active business versus 6 years is totally different. It's totally different. Now, you don't have to be profitable or revenue generating per se in all 6 years, because at a certain point in your trajectory, you may have pivoted, things may have happened. You may have lost your job and decided, I'm going to become a consultant. And you becoming a consultant allowed you and offered you opportunities to generate revenue. And so you did that through your business. And now your business is able to qualify for more programs to receive more funding. And therefore you can spend your revenue or use your money really to invest in other things. The goal is to buy things that make us more money. We want to let our money make more money, right? We want to put it into things, more assets, so that we know that there's something of value here at the end of it. Now, I could go on and on about that, but I don't want to draw out.
Let me ask you this. So clearly, anybody that's viewing can see my goal. My goal is to start the individual, because I have there's so many aspects that are involved in getting people started. I'm going to open up a book. It's called Easy Corporate Curriculum for New Business Owners. So what I do is I help business owners who maybe haven't incorporated, they're operating as a mom and pop or as a partnership or as a sole proprietorship. So I help them to get established and to incorporate LLC, whichever variation of starting a corporation they want to do. And the purpose of that all along is to get them to start generating income based through the entity, so that they can begin to, like you say, begin to purchase assets that will then generate income, passive income, non-passive, whatever way they want to generate income. What I'm doing is I'm thumbing through some of the curriculum that's in that book, Easy Corporate Comprehensive Curriculum for New Business Owners. The point I'm getting to as well is I get you to a certain point. People like Abina, and is this Alabama Business Solutions or AL Business Solutions?
A&L.
Okay.
Business.
A&L Business Solution. They can then take you, once we've got you set up, you're established everywhere you need to be established. Business with the government, B2G strategies. And it's not just them. They've got a whole team, but they don't just have their team. They've got a whole network of people who are throughout the US and abroad that can take you to whatever goal you're looking for. Your first stop would be here. And the reason why I say your first stop is here is because their company is huge. It's not that they're not set up to do business with you as small as you want to start. It doesn't matter how humble you're beginning, they can help you. But you can benefit if we show you everything that you need here. Go ahead and get you with your written material. So even when you're along the way, you're going to have questions. You're going to need something that you can refer back to that's a quick reference. This book is not just for this time frame, but it's kind of set up with a trajectory of what's coming. So you know different things that you're going to expect along the way in running your business. Meanwhile, they're teaching you how to strategize to begin to either contract or subcontract with either state agencies or federal agencies or other agencies that are involved with when we were doing government contracts, how consuming it is. Because it's not just one aspect that you're overseeing. There's several micro aspects that are involved. That flow sheet is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at that flow chart, all of the time that it's consuming, for you to give us this time today, for anybody that's watching, hope y'all are taking notes. This is pricey. And she's dropping some serious nuggets. It's all in how you're listening and how you're viewing. But again, I want to thank you for coming. I don't know how much longer you have, because I can absorb this forever. I know we have 15 more minutes in this segment, and all of it is yours if you want it. I've been encouraging people to ask questions, because I don't know when you'll get this type of opportunity with Abby, again, where it's not costing you an arm. And
I will say this.
Your legs.
Yeah, we don't do this part that Ms. Battle's talking about. We do not help with your entity setup. We do not make sure that your I's are dotted and T's are crossed, right? That's not the aspect of business that we work with. We want to work with you when you are already established and operations are rolling. You know, your vision is clear as to what you do, who you do it for. You know, the biggest thing is, what problem do you solve, right? And then when you are ready to work with us, when people are like, I'm ready for contracts, Abby, I want to do this, because, you know, business can be set up. You can do B2B, you do business to business or business to corporation. You can do B2C, which is usually business to customers or clients, consumers, or you do B2G, which is what I do, business to government. And so we are pretty much a matchmaking service. I like to just make it really cute. We're matchmaking services for the problem that you solve, and we align that with some of the government needs, whether it's federal, state, or local. Right now, we're kind of leaving federal alone for a second while they figure out what they want to do and how they want to do it. But it's still a for state and local contracting opportunities, right? Nobody's going to tell you that except for me, because I don't have anything to hide. That's just where our focus is. Is federal contracting still a thing and still going on? Absolutely. I just, pulled probably about 25 contracts for a client of mine just last week on the federal side, but they are ready. Right? They have their operations in place. They have their finances and funding in place. And so there are not a lot of barriers for entry for them. They've done what they're supposed to do. And so for them to get to that place, they had to, again, go back to the beginning. I want to nail this on the head. You have to have a starting point. A decision has to be made. Do not get in your own way. You're going to be mad at you getting your own way, because I've done it myself. I'm pretty sure Ms. Battle has done it herself, getting in your own way and missing opportunities because for whatever reason, things were happening and you just were not in alignment with your business. And we don't have to take on extremely large tasks. We can literally break up those tasks into micro tasks, but still have the capability of getting it done in an efficient time so that we can evaluate what's going on and then move on to our next steps. Which the goal, of course, is to be revenue generating and, of course, having a nice substantial profit margin at the end of it all. But mostly using that revenue to allow us to exercise our buying power that we have in the marketplace to do whatever, however we want, whenever and wherever we want, right? As long as it is legal. And so yeah, it can look like that, but it may not necessarily be the case. The clients that are supposed to be for you are for you, but remember, those clients are again waiting on you. So if you never get started, they will never find you, and they will never get the sauce that you add to the plate because you decided you didn't want to get started.
Right.
So take it piece by piece. Do not take it all at once. My husband says the easiest way to eat an elephant is one piece at a time, and enjoy the journey as well. Okay, I think we don't often hear that so much. I think we wait to enjoy the profit without necessarily enjoying the journey and the strengthening that you go through as a business owner. Is quite valuable, and I think sometimes we undermine what we go through and the strengthening that we go through personally is remarkable. You know, look at yourself and say, wow, it's been 10 years. Where I was 10 years ago is not where I am today. And that's very much so true for me. 10 years ago in 2015, I was not where I am today. Now, have I taken breaks? Yes. I have taken some breaks, not too long. And
you
not break
a break, but your partner, your company didn't take a break.
No, my business didn't take a break.
That business was still rolling. Okay.
It
I want
sure
to make sure
was.
they understand. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's what we teach you. We teach you how to
place.
Yeah.
We had a system in place that where if I needed to take a break, if he needed to take a break, or if we wanted to take a break and shut down for a week or two, we could, because our clients are happy. And guess what? When we come back to whatever, vacation, having a mental break, restructuring, because we instead of shutting our doors permanently, we closed a couple days to
vacation together.
Yep.
And the company was still
running.
Yeah. Both companies.
Yep.
All the companies.
And so that doesn't happen overnight.
No.
But it can happen today. Right. And it starts with those micro steps and valuing the process, getting the right education.